Have you ever felt like you are drowning in your own ambition? You say yes to every opportunity, you chase every trend. You try to be everything to everyone because you are terrified that if you stop running, you will disappear. You work 16 hours a day. You sacrifice your sleep, your health, and your relationships. And yet, when you look at your bank account or your career or your happiness, it feels empty. We are taught that more is better, more hustle, more products, more skills. But what if the secret to the life you want isn't about adding more? What if it's about having the courage to subtract? This is the story of Elena, a woman who lost everything by trying to do everything, and how she built an empire by doing almost nothing. Elena was a prodigy. At 24, she was the youngest head chef in her city. She had energy, she had talent, and she had a dream. She opened her first restaurant, the Global Plate. Her vision was massive. She wanted to serve Italian pasta, Japanese sushi, Mexican tacos, and French pastries. She wanted a breakfast menu, a lunch rush, a dinner service, and a late-night bar. She told her friends, "I don't want to miss any customer. I want everyone to find something they love." It sounded like a good business plan. It sounded like hard work. But it was a trap. The first 6 months were a blur of adrenaline. Elena worked 18 hours a day. She was the chef, the manager, the accountant, and the janitor, but the Global Plate was a disaster. Because the menu was so big, the ingredients were always spoiling. Because she tried to cook 5 different cuisines, none of them were excellent. They were just average. The sushi lovers went to the Japanese place down the street. The pasta lovers went to the Italian trattoria. Elena was exhausted. Her hands were covered in burns and cuts. Her eyes had dark circles that makeup couldn't hide. By the end of the first year, she was $50,000 in debt. The bank seized her equipment. She locked the doors of the Global Plate for the last time, crying on the dirty kitchen floor. She had given everything. She had worked harder than anyone she knew. And she had failed. Broken and lost, Elena left the city. She used the last of her savings to travel, trying to find inspiration, or perhaps just trying to run away. She found herself in a small, misty village in the mountains of Kyoto, Japan. One rainy Tuesday, she saw a line of people waiting outside a tiny wooden shop. There was no sign, no flashy marketing. Just a line of people standing patiently in the rain. Curious, Elena joined the line. When she finally entered, she saw an old man. His name was Kenji. Kenji was not a chef. He was a potter. He made tea bowls. But here was the strange thing. The shop was almost empty. There were only 3 shelves. And on those shelves, there were only tea bowls. No plates, no vases, no statues. Just simple, imperfect, rough tea bowls. Elena watched him work. He moved with a slowness that irritated her. She was used to the speed of a professional kitchen. Kenji took a lump of clay and spent an hour just shaping the rim of a single bowl. "Excuse me?" Elena asked, her voice trembling. "Why do you only make bowls? Don't you lose customers who want plates? Or vases?" Kenji didn't look up. He kept his eyes on the spinning wheel. "I do not want customers who want plates," he said softly. "I want customers who understand the soul of a bowl." Elena frowned. "But isn't that limiting? Don't you get bored?" Kenji stopped the wheel. He looked at Elena with eyes that seemed to see right through her anxiety. "The river is powerful not because it is wide," Kenji said, "but because it is deep. You are a river that has spilled over its banks, turning the land into a swamp. You have no current. You have no force." Elena felt those words hit her like a physical blow. She realized Kenji was right. She was a swamp, stagnant, muddy. She begged Kenji to teach her. Not how to make pottery, but how to think like him. He agreed on one condition. For 3 months, you will not touch the clay. You will simply watch. It was torture for Elena. She was a doer. She was a hustler. For the first month, all she did was sweep the studio and prepare the tea. Her mind screamed at her. "You are wasting time. You should be starting a new business. You are losing money." But she had promised. By the second month, her mind began to quiet down. She started to notice things she had missed before. She noticed how the humidity in the air changed the texture of the clay. She noticed how Kenji's breathing synced with the rotation of the wheel. She realized that Kenji wasn't just making bowls. He was having a conversation with the earth. He wasn't trying to make 1,000 bowls to get rich. He was trying to make one bowl that justified its existence. In the third month, Kenji finally spoke to her about strategy. Elena, he said, mediocrity loves complexity. Mastery loves simplicity. When you try to do 5 things, you are competing with everyone. When you do one thing with absolute devotion, you have no competition. Because no one else is crazy enough to go that deep. He handed her a cup of tea. Go home, he said, and find your bowl. Find the one thing you can do better than anyone in the world and discard the rest. Elena returned to the city. Her friends asked her what her new plan was. I'm opening a soup shop, she said. Oh, nice. They replied, what kind of soups? Tomato, chicken noodle, chowder? No, Elena said. Just bone broth. Beef bone broth. That's it. Her friends laughed. Elena, are you crazy? You can't sustain a business on one item. What about vegetarians? What about people who want a sandwich with it? You're going to fail again. The old Elena would have panicked. She would have added a salad menu, a vegan option, and a dessert list. But the new Elena, the one who had swept Kenji's floor for 3 months, stood firm. No, she said. Just broth. She rented a tiny space. It had only 10 seats. She bought the highest quality bones from local farmers. She filtered the water 3 times. She simmered the broth for 48 hours, skimming the fat every 30 minutes. She didn't spend money on marketing, she spent money on ingredients. She didn't spend time on social media. She spent time perfecting the clarity of the liquid. She opened the golden ladle on a Tuesday. The menu had one item, the 48-hour broth. Price, $15. For the first week, almost no one came. People walked by, looked at the menu, saw only one item, and walked away. Elena stood in her empty kitchen. The doubt crept in. The voice of her failure whispered, see, you limited yourself too much. You should have made sandwiches. But she remembered Kenji. The river is powerful because it is deep. She kept skimming the fat. She kept tasting. She refused to compromise. 3 weeks later, on a cold, rainy afternoon much like the day she met Kenji, a man walked in. He was shivering. He looked miserable. He sat down and ordered the broth. Elena poured it into a simple ceramic bowl. No garnish. No bread on the side. Just the golden liquid. The man took a sip. He stopped. He closed his eyes. He took another sip. Then he drank the whole bowl in silence. He stood up, looked at Elena, and said, I have eaten in Michelin star restaurants in Paris, Tokyo, and New York. I have never tasted anything this pure. That man was the city's most feared food critic. The next morning, the review came out. The headline read, The Audacity of Perfection. Why one bowl of soup is worth more than a banquet. By noon, there was a line around the block. People didn't come because they wanted options. They came because they wanted the best. They came because in a world of noise, confusion, and mediocrity, Elena offered them clarity. She offered them one thing done with absolute love and mastery. She didn't need to advertise. The product was the advertisement. She didn't need to manage 20 employees. She ran the kitchen with 2 assistants. Her costs were low. Her waste was 0. Her profit margins were higher than any restaurant in the city. Elena eventually opened 3 more locations. But she never expanded the menu. She became a millionaire not by adding, but by subtracting. She realized that her previous failure wasn't because she didn't work hard enough. It was because she was working hard on the wrong things. She was spreading her energy so thin that it became invisible. We live in a world that screams diversify, multitask, do it all. But look at the people who truly change the world. Look at the people who find peace and wealth. They are the ones who found their bowl. They are the ones who said no to the good so they could say yes to the great. So here's my question to you. What are you trying to do right now that is simply clutter? What project, what relationship, what habit is just noise in your life? Are you a shallow river spreading yourself over the mud? Or are you ready to dig deep? Don't be afraid to empty your shelves. Don't be afraid to offer the world just one thing if that one thing is truly yours. Success isn't about how much you can carry. It's about how much you are willing to leave behind. If this story spoke to you, if you are ready to find your focus, type I will dig deep in the comments below. Subscribe for more stories that will change the way you see your life, and I'll see you in the next video.